the 2nd of August 2022. Chapter 21. Is finis nobis? Is male, but so finis, which means and, is to be male. So this was the and, to or for us, nobis, et simonis et itineris communis fuit. So both of our conversations, our sermons, and of our journey, communis. So this was an end for us of our communal conversation and journey, or talking together and travelling together. Nam comite utoque. For the companions, utoque, both of them, for both the companions, ad villulam, which is a diminutive for a little villa, proximam, meaning nearby, leviosum, off to the left, aberunt. For both of the companions, turned off to the left to a nearby little villa. Ego, so I, vero, but, or moreover, so but I, quad, could be a quad clause or it could be a neuter, primum ingresui. So I entered, that's a perfect. So I, primum, the first, stabilum, stable or in, they'd be taking this quad. So, but I, entering into the first in, conspicatus sum, which I saw, that's perfect. Arcesai, it's a perfect passive infinitive. And de quadam anu corpona. And we'll say concerning the certain old woman, corpona, who was an innkeeper, illicos, the adverb from the spot or immediately, per contour. So I asked a question. So I went into the first inn that I saw and summoned basically to the certain old woman who was the innkeeper and immediately asked her. Esne, ne is the enclitic, so it says, is this, in quem I said, Hypata, haec sivatas. Is this city Hypata? Ad nuit, so she nodded approvingly. Nostine, there's ne the enclitic. Is there, nostai, milonum, that's a proper noun, quendam e primordius. So is there in this town a certain person from the leaders, the primordibus, called Milo? Basically it's just a question. Ad risit et. So she smiled and inquid she said, vere, that's true. Primus istic, which istic's he, perhibiter Milo. Yes, calling him a first person does apply to Milo. Qui extra pomerium, he who lives outside the pomerium, that's the city limits. And colet, praises or lives. So he lives outside of the city limits and the whole town. So that's why he's called first, because I guess you come across him first before you go into the town. Remoto im quam yoko, so we've got ablative here. With the joking removed, joking aside, parens optimus, that's vocative. So that's just, calling her a best parent or a good mother. Dec, which is an imperative. Speak, or I beg you. And curiatus sit. And of what type, with the subjunctive. And quibus, by which diversitor aedibus. Where's the turn off to his aedibus? Or where's the turn off to the house? Now that's in the ablative form aedibus, which usually means going away from, but where's the turn off from that house? Videsne, we've got ne the enclitic. Do you see, as a question, she said, extremis fenestris, the edge of, or the furthest window, fenestris windows, which forus urbam prospiciant, which look prospiciant, forus outside into the urban. Forus is outside. And altrinsecus, you see several of these secus words, which usually means different, but it means the other side. You have intrinsecus and extrinsecus, are pretty common adverbs. And you see those other side doors, proximum respicientes, that's present participle. So she's saying these doors are looking, which obviously doors don't look, but it's poetic device there. See those doors on the other side, proximum anteportum. Anteportum's a back alley. So it's near the back alley. In ibi. So in there, iste he, Milo, diversitor. Yeah, that's off where he's staying. In there's where Milo stays. Amplita numatus, meaning he has ample amount of coins, numatus, and longe opulentus, and by far he's opulent, he's rich. Verum extreme avaratiae, but he's of extreme greed and sordus homo, and he's a squalid, this man. Infime infamus. Infima actually means a low interest rate. If we look at the Daily Dictionary, there it is here, infamus. Very low, or lowest, but since it's being compared to itself, infirme to infamus, he's actually lending at high interest. Phonus here is interest rates. And denique, finally, or in short, copious sum. There's a lot of money, copious amount of this interest. So he's living as if he's got the lowest, sordest, dirtiest amount. But lots of money under Arabone. This is probably this is like the rust you get on copper, I think. But we've got ora and argento, which is gold and silver. Crebita, which means frequently an adverb. Exercens, which is a present participle, which he's actually lending this gold and silver. Inclusus, which means he is a past participle. He's shut in exiguo lars, in a very small house. The lars, the household god of the fireplace. And erigune, actually, no, that's the word for rust. Always intentus. Yeah, so he's always looking at the copper rust. You might want to look up what arabone means then. Cum exorum, with his wife, even calamitas sue comitem habet. He always has his wife as his companion in such calamities. Yeah, you might want to look up that word yourself. Nequi praetor, and neither, praetors besides, uniquam, just means one. Neither is any besides one person, pasket, that he feeds. And silulum, another diminutive for a maidservant. He's got a little maidservant, is the only other person besides him and his wife which he feeds. And habitu, which is a fourth, and in the clothing, mendicantus, of a beggar, always semper inseated. She goes in, she walks around, always dressed in the clothes of a beggar. Chapter 22. Ad haec. To these words, I, demonstrative pronoun, a rhism, a smile, subicio. I supplied a laugh at these words. Benigne inquam, I said, and prospiqui Demeus meus. So kindly and foreseeing was my Demeus, my friend Demas, in me consulvit, when he planned in with the accusative, planned for me, qui, who, peregrinaturum, when I was about to go into a foreign land, basically, tali viro, such a man, consilivit, who he's planned such a man for me in this planning when I'm about to travel, in cuius hospitio, in whose, as a guest he would be staying, nec fume, nec nidoris nebulam vere. So neither would I have to fear of the smoke or of the, basically the nebula is another smoky word too. This is from the cooking fumes as the lobe has. Okay. Et cum dicto modico. And with this dicto said, progressus secus modico. Basically, he went forwards a little way. Secus is another adverb. Progresses to the ostium, which is the doorway. Acedo also means progresses as a past passive. Acedo is present. So this was said. He progressed a little way, went up to the door, and genuum, which is the actual door, the ostium's the doorway, and firmata opesulatem. The door was firmly locked shut. Pulsare vocalata incipio. I began to pulsate, I began to beat, and I was vocalata. So while he was banging, he was obviously calling out. Tandem adolescentula. It's a female diminutive. Alas, a certain young girl, this would be the maidservant, proceedens. Present participling out, she proceeded forth. Hey you, in which he said, hey us too. Qui tam fortita fores verberasti. That's the second person for a perfect. You who is verberasti, you who are beating so strongly the doors, sub qua, under which, spece mutare cupius. What's this appearance that you desire to give for this loan? Well, basically, the specy's not really an appearance. It's what security do you offer for the loan? An means whether, or are tu solus, these are in apposition, or are you alone, ignoras, that's the verb, or are you alone ignorant, praeter besides, aurum argentumque, gold and silver, nullum nos pignus admittere. So are you alone ignorant that besides gold and silver, we accept nullum pignus, no pledges, no deposits, basically, for that's a guarantee. Meliora inquam ominare. So I said, a better omen, ominare is actually the verb, produce a better omen, and potius responde, and rather responde, again, it's whether, intra aids, inside this house, irum's the master, tuum goes with it, so it's your master, offenderum. Now, offendurum's one of my favourite verbs. It can mean offend, or come across, or to strike. So, respond whether I shall be able to come across your master inside the aids, inside the house. Plane, in which she said, clearly she said, but which cause, what is the cause, huis, of this quaestionis? This is genitive, but what is the reason for this inquisition, for this inquiry? Litaros, we'll take that as a singular even though it's plural. So there's a letter ei to him, a Corinthio, from Corinth, de me scriptas ad eum redo. So there's a letter for him that Demeus wrote from Corinth, redo, that I shall give ad eum to him. Dum annantio, in which she said, while I announce this, she said, here, ibidem, in the same place, me operimino. Wait here for me in this very place. Et cum dicto, and with this said, rosum again, foribus opesulantis. These are ablatives again. And so, cum dicto, when it was said, again, having bolted the doors again, or with the doors bolted, intro, inside, capessit. She took herself off inside. Modico deinde regressa. Deinde's then, regressa. She returned in a modest amount of time, modico, and with the doors open, patefactus aedibus, with the house open, rogat te inquit. He's asking you, she said. So he's asking to see you. Intuli me. I went in, and eum and him, accubentem, lying down, exiguo ad motum grabaculo. On a fully tiny cot, it was certainly very tiny, it depends how you want to interpret ad modum, and commodum, meaning just, cana to dine, incipientem, that's the accusative present participle, invenio. So I went in, and he was lying down on a very small bed, and I found him just about to begin eating dinner. As sitabat peds uxor. So the wife was sitting down at his feet, his peds, which would be the accusative, and mensa vacua posita. Take some sort of ablative here. So there was a vacant position at the table, quis of which monstratu, which was pointed out, demonstrated. And inquit hospitium, so this is what he's saying as he's pointing it out. Look, there, guest, hospitium. Bene ego, it's well, ego. Basically what I said is it's well. And illico, there on the spot, illi to him, litaris demie trado. The letter of this bloke here in the proper noun, what's his name? Demeas. And so I handed over the letter from Demas to him. Very short sentence here. Quibus properitur lectus. Now we'll take properitur as a adverb for haste. Quibus lectus, which was read very hastily. And we'll finish it up here with amo inquit. I love, he said, my Demeas, or I'm thankful to my friend Demeas, qui, who, mihi, dative to me, tantum, such, concilivit hospitem, who has consigned me to such a guest, or has introduced me to such a guest.